Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to find the intervals of increase and decrease. This is chapter 5 of Math 31, so let's get started. Okay guys, so before we start an example, I want to go over the 4 steps that we use to find the increasing and decreasing intervals. And it's very similar to finding the maximum and minimum values in my previous videos. This might be even easier. So let's go over the steps. Okay, the first step, you take the first derivative of the function you have, and then you find the critical numbers. After you get those critical numbers, you're going to put them on the number line and check the intervals where it's increasing and decreasing. So if f prime of x is greater than 0, then it's increasing, and if f prime of x is less than 0, then it's decreasing. So let's start with an example. Okay guys, so here's our first example, and as I said in step 1, we're going to take the first derivative, okay? So when you take the derivative of g of x, you're going to use power rule. I've already taught this, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the derivative. Okay guys, so here I went ahead and I took the derivative. Okay, now that we have the derivative, we're going to find the critical numbers. I made a separate video on finding critical numbers, but what you're going to do is make this equation equal to 0 and then factor this so that you can find the critical numbers. Okay, so I will write it out first. Okay, I set this equal to 0, okay? Now what you're going to do is factor it. So I'll go over the first few steps. What you want to do is look at what you can take out that's common in what's common in all of the terms. Okay, so one common thing in all of these terms is x. You can take out an x, okay? Now look at the coefficients. What can you take out that's available in all of the coefficients? You can take out a 4, right? If you divide each coefficient by 4, you'll be left with whole numbers. So you can take out a 4x, okay? One second, I'll write it out. Okay guys, so here I wrote it out. I took out a common term. You can see that nothing changed except for the fact that I simplified it. Okay, now that I've simplified it, you're going to further factor this. I've already taught this in my Math 20 factoring video, so I'm not going to go over it, but you can either use quadratic formula to factor this, or you can factor it by hand. So I'm just going to go ahead and write the factors out. Okay guys, so now that I've factored it, you can directly tell what your critical numbers are going to be. You can either make it each term equal to 0 and do it from there, or just tell directly. I'm going to do it directly, and I'll come back. Okay guys, so the critical numbers are going to be 0, 4, and -1. You just want to see what value of x can make the term equal to 0. So here, if you put x is 0, this term is going to be 0. That's a critical number. Here, if you put positive 4, 4 minus 4, 0, that will make this term equal to 0. So that's a critical number. And here, x plus 1, you can put x as -1, -1 plus 1 equals 0. This term is going to be equal to 0, so that makes this a critical number. Okay, now that we found all 3 critical numbers, you're going to put this on the number line and check the intervals. This is what's going to solve the question. It's asking for the intervals of increase and decrease. So what you want to do is find if this is positive or negative for each interval, and then that way the question will be solved. I'm going to write down a trick for the next. Okay guys, so keep in mind that when you test the intervals, you're going to plug that number into f prime of x. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote f, but you're going to plug it into g prime of x. And if you get that value as greater than 0, that means the interval is going to be positive. Okay, and if you plug it into g prime of x and you get that number less than 0, that means the interval is going to be negative. Okay, now that I've explained that, you can just take any values in between each interval and plug it in as a test point. Okay guys, so here I took each test point for the intervals, and in the interval for less than -1, I took x equals -2. I plugged that into this equation, the derivative that we took, I plugged that in here, and I got the value to be negative 48, okay? The value itself doesn't matter, it's the sign that matters. So because it's negative, that means this whole interval is going to be negative, therefore it's decreasing, okay? I did that with this interval between negative 1 and 0. I used negative 0.5 as my test point. I plugged it in the equation, and I got positive 4.5. That makes this equation positive, making it increasing. Okay, I did it with 1 between 0 and 4, plugged it in here, got negative 24. That means this interval is negative, therefore decreasing. And I did that for greater than 4, the interval greater than 4, and I put x as 5. I plugged it in here, and I got the value as 120. That makes this interval positive, making it increasing. Now that you have the sign for each interval, you can rephrase it into interval notation to write where it's increasing and decreasing. So I'm just going to directly write it, and I'll explain after. Okay guys, so here I wrote the answer in interval notation. This is very easy. All you have to do is analyze the number line from negative 1 going to the left indicating that the number is getting smaller and more negative. That means from negative infinity to 1, the interval of g of x is going to be decreasing, okay? And moving on, from negative 1 to 0, this interval is going to be positive because we use a test point and we got positive. Third, we have the interval from 0 to 4. Putting it in interval notation, that means this is decreasing. And from 4 moving to the right, that means the number is getting bigger and bigger. That makes it from 4 to infinity, the graph is increasing. Okay, so that's this question solved. Okay guys, so that's it for today's video. I kept this video very short because finding the intervals of increasing and decreasing is very easy, and it's very similar to my last videos, so check those out as well. Most of the steps you need I've already taught, so be sure to watch those videos before watching this one. And yeah, this video was made at the request of a subscriber. I'm gonna put the screenshot, but I hope it was helpful. So that's it for today. See you guys next time. Bye.